afternoon, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Today on Newsfeed at noon, after more than a decade, convicted OFW Mary Jane Veloso is finally home. The scheduled signing of the 2025 national budget on Friday postponed. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex giving a rare glimpse of their children as they release their official Christmas card. And another UAAP star is reportedly taking his talents to South Korea. After 14 years, Mary Jane Veloso, the Filipina sentenced to death in Indonesia for drug trafficking, is back home. But while she may have escaped death, she's still pinning her hopes on the president to finally set her free and reunite with her family. Francis Falve joins us from the Women's Correctional Facility in Mandaluyong for more details. Hi, Francis. How is Mary Jane now?
Mary Jane was given some time alone with her family before the transfer protocols began here at the CIW. We were allowed to see the emotional reunion between Mary Jane and her family. Mary Jane said she is very happy to be back in the country and be with her family even for a short while, as she will be still locked up here at the Correctional Institution for Women. She will undergo a 5-day quarantine, and after which she will be treated like an ordinary person deprived of liberty. After having her fingerprints and mugshots taken, Mary Jane came to the hallway to wave and smile to members of the media. She also changed her street clothes to the standard orange detainee shirt. She will be staying at the same cell used by Cassandra Leong, who is being investigated for Pogo links. Earlier this morning, the DOJ, NBI, and Bucor narrated how Mary Jane was transferred from Indonesia. They said strict protocols were followed. Justice Undersecretary Raul Vasquez also said Mary Jane was a bit nauseous and was vomiting before she left Indonesia, but her initial medical assessment confirms she is okay. He described Mary Jane's homecoming as an early Christmas present to her and her family. Mary Jane's family also requested to keep Mary Jane away from her recruiter, who is also detained here at the CIW. To recall, Veloso was arrested in Indonesia in 2010 after being caught with 2.6 kilograms of heroin in her luggage. After more than 14 years, hope emerged for Veloso when the Indonesian government decided to allow her to go back to the country. According to the Indonesian government, the decision regarding Veloso's case is now under Philippine jurisdiction. Mai?
So, Francis, did the DOJ say if they will recommend Mary Jane for presidential pardon?
Yes, my DOJ said that that can be considered, but there were also like 10,000 other PDLs who were candidates for pardon this year.
Francis, will Mary Jane's family be allowed to see her every day?
Mary Jane's family is still here, but they won't be able to see her in the next 5 days as they will strictly implement the quarantine period. But after that, they can visit her on the normal schedule of PDL visiting hours, which is Wednesdays to Sundays from 9 a.m. to 11:15 in the morning, and another batch at 1 o'clock to 3 p.m. During the afternoon sessions. Bye.
Thanks for the update, Francis Falve, live from the Women's Correctional Facility in Mandaluyong. President Marcos again thanked the Indonesian government for Mary Jane's repatriation. The president also stressed that Veloso's safety and welfare is paramount and that agencies in the justice and law enforcement sector shall continue to ensure it. It took more than a decade of diplomatic efforts spanning 3 administrations before Indonesia finally agreed to repatriate Mary Jane Veloso. Hannah T. looks back at the events that gave her a new lease on life.
A week before Christmas, overseas Filipino worker Mary Jane Veloso finally returns to the Philippines from Indonesia. On April 25, 2010, Veloso was arrested at Yogyakarta Airport after 2.6 kilograms of heroin were found in her luggage. Veloso had been recruited for a supposed job in Malaysia, but upon arrival, no work opportunity was awaiting her. Her then recruiter, Maria Cristina Serio, arranged for her travel to Indonesia. Unbeknownst to Veloso, the bag given to her contained illegal drugs. This led to her being sentenced to death. According to Migrante International, Sergio was the live-in partner of Mary Jane's godbrother. Just hours before Veloso's scheduled execution, Sergio surrendered to Philippine authorities. Veloso has consistently maintained she is a victim of human trafficking. On the day of her supposed execution, April 29, 2015, former President Noynoy Aquino personally appealed to Indonesian President Joko Widodo. Aquino also directly called the Indonesian foreign minister. As a result, the execution was put on hold, allowing Veloso to testify against her recruiter. Since then, various groups have consistently called for Veloso's repatriation. This year, Veloso's family received renewed hope after the government announced the possibility of her return. Indonesia had drawn up a broader plan to send foreign prisoners back to their respective countries, and Veloso was included in the list. President Bongbong Marcos had also devoted efforts to request Veloso's repatriation from the Indonesian government. The Department of Justice quickly submitted a formal request and sent representatives to Indonesia on December 6. Following the signing of a practical agreement between Indonesia and the Philippines, the government confirmed that Veloso may be reunited with her family before Christmas.
We would like to announce na officially Mary Jane Veloso is coming home.
Clemency for Mary Jane now.
Supporters of Veloso are now hoping she will be granted clemency or a pardon. Hannah T., Bilyonaryo News Channel.
The scheduled signing of the 2025 national budget on Friday postponed. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin says this will allow more time for what he called a rigorous and exhaustive review of the spending bill. He adds President Marcos himself is leading the ongoing assessment. Bersamin also confirms certain items of the budget bill will be vetoed by the president. No date has been set yet for the signing, but Malacanang wants it done before Christmas. Congressmen grill officials of embattled state insurer PhilHealth for supposedly prioritizing investments, not its services to members. Zandro Ochona tells us more.
PhilHealth promised lawmakers it will continue to provide health care benefits to its members despite zero subsidy for next year. PhilHealth President Emmanuel Ledesma reported that as of October 2024, the agency has 150 billion pesos in surplus, 281 billion pesos in reserves, and an investment portfolio nearing 489 billion pesos.
The first reason po is it's been 12 years since the case packages have been enhanced. Pangalawa po, nung pandemic po, yung COVID, diba, that was for 2.5 years, lahat po ng tao, including I think ourselves in this room, natakot po pumunta sa hospital, natakot po lumabas ng bahay, natakot pumunta sa doktor kasi baka magka-COVID. So, very few were going to the hospitals for treatment. Kaya again, nagkukumpol yung pera. Yung pangatlo po is, dahil, like I also mentioned earlier, yung premium contributions kasi set by law yun, diba? So kahit hindi po namin kailangan yung pera dahil nagkukumpul-kumpul na nga dahil because of the first two reasons I mentioned earlier, we still have to implement the increase in premium contributions kasi nakaset na yan by law diba? So kahit hindi namin kailangan yung pera, tumataas pa rin yung binabayad sa amin ng mga tao.
Lawmakers argued despite these numbers, it has not translated to significant relief for Filipinos burdened with healthcare costs. They also slammed PhilHealth for looking more like a business than a healthcare provider agency.
Ang utak po ninyo ay investment, hindi po service. Hindi po para sa tao yung nangyayari. Na yung the money of PhilHealth should be used to increase the package or to decrease the contribution.
But healthcare advocate Dr. Tony Liachon says surplus fund is different from reserve fund.
In the reserve funds, they have mistaken that as surplus plans. As a pre-need insurance agency, you need really a reserve funds for contingency measures just in case.
Yun ang reserve.
Yun ang reserve funds. And walang insurance company na pre-need na walang reserve funds. Na use that for contingency measures just in case may disaster preparedness program, meron kang mga i-increase ng benefits.
And that government allocation is important for PhilHealth's operating expenses. Otherwise,
then you have to consume your reserve funds. In 2 years' time, kung hindi magagamit to, magbabangkarote ang PhilHealth.
Okay.
Ledesma cited PhilHealth financial stability and announced plans for a 50% increase in coverage for most case rate packages. This is also assured by the Department of Health.
At meron naman pong pagkakataon sa taong 2025 para magpakitang gilas ang PhilHealth, mag-deliver ng kanilang mga benepisyo at baka sakaling payagan na po ng mahal na Kongreso na bigyan ng supplemental budget kung mamarapatin. Samantala, patuloy naman po ang pagbigay serbisyo ng Department of Health sa mga ospital nito, 87 na ospital nationwide, pati na rin sa 41 bagong urgent care and ambulatory service centers para sa primary care.
Zandro Ochona, BNC.
The suspect in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson indicted for murder by a Manhattan grand jury. Luigi Mangione faces 11 counts, including first-degree murder and murder as a crime of terrorism. The indictment also accused Mangione of killing Thompson with the intent to influence government policy by intimidation or coercion. To recall, the words deny, defend, and depose were carved into shell casings found at the Thompson murder scene. It's a reference to a book critical of the insurance industry.
Our work will never be able to undo the fact that a life was lost. This was a frightening, well-planned, targeted murder that was intended to cause shock and attention and intimidation.
Let me say this plainly. There is no heroism in what Mangione did. This was a senseless act of violence. It was a cold and calculated crime that stole a life and put New Yorkers at risk. We don't celebrate murders, and we don't lionize the killing of anyone.
Turning now to the rare case of a female shooter in Wisconsin. Authorities still searching for answers on what motivated 15-year-old Natalie Rapnaugh to open fire at a private Christian school in Madison. 2 were killed before Rapnaugh took her own life. 2 more students who were injured are still in critical condition.
Identifying a motive is our top priority, but at this time it appears that the motive was a combination of factors. There are always signs of a school shooting before it occurred. Some of you have reached out about Rapnaugh's social media activity prior to yesterday's shooting. We're looking into her online activity.
The Madison attack is an outlier among mass shootings in the U.S. Only about 3% of all mass shootings in the country are perpetrated by females. There have been at least 83 school shootings in the U.S. so far this year. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex give a rare glimpse of their children. Harry and Meghan have released their official Christmas card this year. It features a collage of images, including a casual family photo with Prince Archie and Princess Elizabeth. Their faces, though, were hidden from the camera since the couple is known for fiercely guarding the privacy of their kids. We're taking a break. Up ahead, authorities planning to extend the danger zone around the rumbling Mount Canlaon. That and more when we return. Keep it here on Newsfeed at noon. You're back on Newsfeed at noon. Authorities are planning to extend the danger zone around the rumbling Mount Canlaon from 6 kilometers to 10. Task Force Canlaon explains heavy rains from a tropical depression are causing lahar flows, which may turn more dangerous in the coming days. People may be asked to move outside the danger area, including those already staying at evacuation centers.
Population at risk are strongly advised to stay updated and keep on monitoring official weather updates from Pag-asa and alerts from the LGU. You should know their nearest evacuation center and be ready to move in advice and stay away from river channels, streams, and areas identified as lahar prone.
Canlaon erupted December 9th. The volcano has been relatively calm since, but FIVOC says another massive eruption is still possible. Signal number 1 is up over Davao Oriental due to Tropical Depression Querubin. The storm was last spotted east of Davao City and Tagum City in Davao del Norte. It is moving north-northeast at 10 kilometers per hour, packing winds of 45 kph and gusts of 55 kph. Weather Bureau Pag-asa says Querubin will weaken into a low-pressure area but could still bring rains over Mindanao through Sunday. The Philippines has so far recorded nearly 5.56 million tourist arrivals this year. That's still short of the government's target of 7.7 million. The Tourism Department says South Korea is still the country's top market, followed by the U.S. and Japan. Lee Chu Property Consultants had projected 6 million international arrivals for the Philippines this year. More flights between the U.S. and the Philippines could soon take off. U.S. Ambassador Mary Kay Carlson says the two countries have begun negotiations for an open skies agreement which allows airlines to freely fly international routes and compete openly with other airlines for passengers. She adds more Filipinos have applied for non-immigrant visas at more than 300,000, the highest ever in the history of the U.S. Embassy. China, meanwhile, relaxes its visa-free transit policy to attract more foreign travelers. Visitors can now stay longer for 10 days instead of 3 to 6 days. 21 additional ports have also been designated for visa-free entry and exit. The updated policy now allows travelers from 54 countries to enter China visa-free when transiting to a third country or region. China recorded nearly 30 million foreign visitors between January and November this year. We're taking another breather. Still to come, another UAAP star could be taking his talents to South Korea. The details when Newsfeed at Noon returns. Stay with us.
Beauty, health, adventure. This is for you. Join Marie Lozano where she uncovers the untold stories and unexpected surprises in the world of lifestyle.
We wanted to create a space where we could dive into these topics not just by talking to experts, but experiencing the topics firsthand. Let me tell you about the Lifestyle Lab.
On BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Magandang gabi, ako po si Pinky Webb.
Ako naman si Corina Sanchez Rojas. Simulan na natin ang agenda.
We're not confident with numbers, ma'am, because impeachment is a legal process and a political activity.
The PSA recently informed us, Mr. Chair, that all non-existent
need warships. It will be provocative and will be seen as an escalation. We don't do that. The Philippines does not escalate tension.
Sa bawat issue, may anggulo at ang balita, may agenda.
This is Weather HQ.
Good morning. Welcome to Weather HQ. I'm Paolo De Rosario. Today's headline.
Get to know the latest weather update and forecast with information to help us understand important aspects regarding our climate.
Will help to prevent flash flooding.
To provide access to clean water and the system-level services to everybody who needs it.
Kung alala po natin, ang northeasterly wind flow po ay malamig na hangin po.
Whatever the weather, here on BNC.
Weather HQ, 9 a.m. The Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Good morning, I'm Mikey Oreta and you're watching Basis Points, where we dive deep into the numbers and the stories that drive our economy and shape our world.
Stay ahead of the curve with the latest on financial dynamics.
The Philippines trade deficit hits its highest level in over 2 years. The Philippine stock market continues to plummet. The Philippine Economic Zone Authority is on track.
Join us as we delve into the evolving economic landscape. Mikey Oreta, Basis Points, 9:30 a.m. only on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
You're back on Newsfeed at noon. Another UAAP star could be taking his talents to South Korea. Multiple reports say graduating UP Court General J.D. Kagulangan has accepted an offer from Suwon KT Sonic Boom in the Korean Basketball League. Kagulangan will be its Asian quota player, a spot previously held by Dave Ildefonso and Filipino-Italian playmaker Dalf Panopio. Sonic Boom is currently at 4th place in the ongoing KBL season. On Monday, two-time UAAP MVP Kevin Kiambao announced South Korea as his next destination following his last dance with the De La Salle Green Archers. On to the FIFA Best Awards as Brazil and Real Madrid forward Vinicius Jr. is named Men's Player of the Year. He personally collected the award in Doha. The 24-year-old had the best season of his career, scoring 24 goals in 39 appearances to help Real Madrid clinch the La Liga and Champions League double. For the women's award, Spain and Barcelona midfielder Aitana Bonmati won for the second year in a row. The 26-year-old helped lead her club to a domestic treble last season and Spain to the Women's Nations League. In entertainment, a new trailer is out for the hit dark comedy White Lotus, which is returning for a third season. It's set in Thailand with a loaded cast that includes Lisa of Blackpink and Season 1 standout Natasha Rothwell. Here's a look.
สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to the White Lotus in Thailand ค่ะ
I'm on an exchange program.
I'm starting to feel like something good's gonna come out of this.
Stress management meditation. Yeah, you need this.
Gluten-free rice and coconut balls? Are we at a fat farm?
Everyone runs from pain towards pleasure. But they get there only to find more pain.
We should do something fun today. She literally lives off male attention. It's pathetic.
If everybody gives into base instincts, it'd be total depravity, like a race to the bottom.
Someone stole my lorazepam. I'm gonna have to drink myself to sleep.
Got really bad feelings.
Something is off. What the f is this place?
I almost died today. But we got the room comped, didn't we, babes? That was cool.
Yeah, you did a great job, babe.
It's gonna be good. The award-winning series will premiere February next year on HBO and will stream on Max. And before we go, Santa swaps his traditional sleigh for a jet ski to deliver gifts to children in Brazil. The holiday gesture was led by non-profit organization Heroes of Love. The presents were given to dozens of children suffering from cerebral palsy, autism, and other syndromes. And those are the news this hour. I'm Mai Rodriguez. 7 days to go before Christmas Day. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Good afternoon.